But I wanted y'all to talk about this whole catcalling situation and how men approach women. Do you think it's a lot? What you feel? And Jason, did that answer your question though? My bad.
Yeah, you were going there. A nice transition too. Yeah.
Okay, what y'all feel? What y'all feel about catcalling and just hollering at girls and how it goes about? What y'all feeling?
And I think it's just rooted in that person, man. Because you think about it, if you got a woman or let's just say you got a woman who was taught to really have confidence and to really not to just accept the status quo. She could, from opposed to somebody that wasn't taught that, or they can respond in two different ways. One lady may kind of not let it bother and continue to walk off, and you can see another person in my mind that can kind of show signs of fear or things like that.
You know what happened when she walk off though?
Don't call her a B.
Call her a B. Gonna yell at her, say, "You ain't want to talk to your ass anyway, then," and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, that's right. That's got the chance of potentially happening too. So, but
hey, Price, what you do when they walk away, man?
So honestly, I don't think that the cat calling is as profound as some might believe. Not to say that it don't happen. I think a lot of stuff happens. You have individuals that don't go about stuff the right way. You're gonna always have it. But I don't think it's profound as I don't think any of the guys on this call that's something that they would do, because we all, I feel like we all were raised differently, to respect women. So I don't think it's as profound as not to say it's not an issue. I just don't think that it's profound.
Yeah, I'm kind of.
Would it be an issue? I'm gonna ask Price this one question though. Even if it's not profound, I'm gonna go back to it. Isn't it an issue for a woman to not feel protected?
If to me, if that's the reason why a woman doesn't feel protected, then I'm definitely on the side of, to answer the question, that
okay,
it's not an issue.
I'm gonna come back to it. All right, J-Rod, what you got, brother?
Hey, just to add to that, I think it would be, to me, that's more along if they're feeling threatened rather than, I would say, protected.
But to say that,
I mean, again,
depends
just
on the person.
Yeah, it does. But
So
I mean, like if somebody's acting aggressive, put it that way, I think that can send off more of a signal of being a threat rather.
What you got, J-Rod?
Somebody taking it that way.
Yeah.
And I mean, that goes both ways too. I mean, guys can get it too.
Yeah, we ain't talking about guys though.
We ain't talking about guys. So to me, it's not a profound issue because it's happening both ways, and it's not a major issue to me.
I got you. What you say, J-Rod? Go for it, bro.
I don't know. I'm kind of torn. Cause I mean, I get it. I'm kind of it's different. I'm kind of in the field of Price on this one, because I do think it happens.
Is he different?
I do think it happens, but I just feel like you can't. I guess I go too deeper with everything, but it's cats out there doing it, but cats doing it because there's a lot of women out there answering to it and giving into it. So I think you can't fully take women off the hook for it. You know what I'm saying? So to me,
that's fair.
To me, it goes back to it kind of goes back to the manhood or a man-like figure when they're coming up. I hate to always go back to how you came up, because it's guys walking around calling A B A H, but guess what? It's a whole lot of women turning around like, "What's up, man? What's up?" So
right.
So to me, if I say, "Hey B, come here," and she turn around and walk up on me, I ain't do nothing wrong. So I'm just saying, if I already got that mindset as a guy, if you're answering to that, then I just pulled a number. So guess what I'm gonna do when I want another number? Hey, red. Hey, brown. Hey, black. So, but again, to your point, if it's somebody that grew up, you don't call them. Nobody call you out your name. You don't answer it. You answer to, like my daughter. Your name is Jacob. That's all you answer to. You ain't Brown. You ain't B. You ain't H. You ain't none of that. So my thing is like, okay, like I think Josh said it. You in your mind, you're gonna ignore that. You're gonna walk off. Now, if a guy just walking up all aggressive, then that's a whole nother.
Yeah, that's a different thing.
If a dude, hey, girl, come over here, and my daughter get in her car and drive off. Oh, you little B. She gonna be, so strong in that mind. You're not even okay with it, whatever. You just hurt because you didn't get this number or whatever. So it's gonna always be extra sensitive people. It's gonna always be different angles. But I just feel like I can't definitively say that it's a whole lot more women that will feel threatened and unprotected, because I feel like you got a big group of women that grin and entertain that. And then you got another sector that can be like, yeah, whatever. Dude.
That's a good point. J-Star, what you were saying, bro?
You can skip me, man, because he said everything I was going to say. Hey, if you answering to it, it's done work before. I mean, if you using it, it's done work before.
Yeah, as a woman, you can't grin and give the dude what he want when he react that way, and then turn around and say, well, y'all ain't protecting me.
Yeah.
What are you showing me to protect?
You're reinforcing that behavior too.
Exactly.
James, what you smelling?
And I said the same. I agree exactly. Point to point. It's that type of environment. I've been in different clubs environment where it's a line of wall of dudes, and the girls purposely walk through that line to get. They turn around and they may grin, but they'll keep it walking, or they'll say something funny, to keep it moving, and they'll see who it is. Because again, it goes back to kind of like who's doing it or who they will accept it from. But I think even if you just step back, just everything you were saying also, as far as how she was raised, as far as to ignore it, and then even how the son is raised to not catcall. I think if we step back from it, we just got cycles that we just need to break on both sides.
Generational.
Our sons are raising our daughters, and on both sides, they just, we just need to do better all the way. Because again, it's a cycle.
That's a good point.
You reinforce that behavior,
Are y'all saying that catcalling is bad? Like that?
So
catcalling, I'm gonna look. You go ahead and answer that, James, but I'm gonna wait till the end after these.
I think it goes back to the aggressive nature and that comes with it. Not saying that I've ever took it to an aggressive length of, even calling the chick out her name or anything like that. But, there's in college, I admit to it, to, get a female's attention across the way or this or that, or at a football game, to get that initial kind of interaction going. It wasn't necessarily a call like, hey, little mama, red, hey, tight pants. It wasn't, calling them out of the thing, but it was a way of, again, starting a conversation. As older and mature, is evolved in the sense of a way of, again, knowing how to talk to a female. But I think,
James, I didn't know you in college, bro, but I knew these dudes, and I know about 5 of them that did some cat calling, including myself, plenty times.
Right.
That's beside the point.
Many times.
But
beside the
think,
point, man.
Just because, I got a sister, I got a mom, and I would never want to make them feel any kind of way. I think I always knew my bounds as far as where I would take it. It was never okay, you don't want to give me your number, fine then, get on this and that. It was, I appreciate it, have a nice day. I'm a holler,
Diesel, what you got, brother?
Man, Diesel can't say nothing good. Oh, sorry, Diesel, my bad.
we all were young at some point in time, and we and
Disclaimer.
we all had an agenda. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, baby, that blue.
we all had an agenda, and I for one was how do you say I was I wanted to get to my agenda badly, and if that meant that I had to scream across the Union to the Commons, then that's just what had to happen on that moment.
Why you gotta go and say that?
Because I'm a, you know. But
No, I
I'm
also
saying,
think
like, today, I would never do that. I mean, I don't think, I think at 20 years old, there's a much different type of person than at 36. If you're 36 years old and you still screaming at chicks across the way,
You got a problem.
you got a problem. Like,
That's what I'm saying, though. We in our 30s, though. That's the thing. So,
but I think it's levels though.
yeah, but
Obviously,
so that's so. All right,
what
peep this.
Oh, yeah.
Peep this. I'm gonna give y'all this. So we can talk about levels. We can talk about all that stuff, but I want to talk about the bigger picture. My standpoint on it is that is absolutely another reason why they do not feel protected. Simply because you talking about, let's say it's 10 o'clock at night, pulling up at a gas station. Your girl pulling up at a gas station. You first of all, you're gonna ask your girl what she getting gas at. You know, let me know when you make it, this thing and another. That's us protecting, right? But what happens is if they pull up to that gas station and they see 5 black dudes, they're gonna feel different immediately. I don't care what y'all say. Even we would feel different depending on what they look like, and we grown men. Not saying you be scared, but at the same time, you might be more aware of your surroundings. So imagine if you was a woman and you pull up at that gas station. Say little mama, and she don't answer because she trying to pump gas. Automatically, she got an attitude because she not answering. You escalating the situation. There's no person in this chat that I feel like would send their daughter to a gas station late at night, and, and say, don't worry about what it looked like out there. Just get out and get your gas, get in the car, and be gone. So I hate to keep bringing daughters in it because it touches a soft spot, but I want to be honest about the situation because your daughter is a woman.
You can use wife. I'm not sending my wife out there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how can a woman feel protected when they run into situations like that on a daily? Imagine. So let's take the gym for instance. This is a daily situation. Most time we talking about these women that answer the B's and hoes. We can't punish the many for the few. They may answer to that. That's true. But when you go to the gym, what you want to wear? You want to wear yoga pants. What you feel about yoga pants? They fire because they show that don't. We already know that. So when, we might think it's cute for a woman to be working out and we just sitting there staring. But at the same time, she don't know you. You might be a creeper. You might be a person that would actually rape. People out there getting raped. So immediately I feel horrible. I feel scared. I don't want to go to the gym. I need a workout buddy. These are daily activities that women have to do, that they have to think and overthink just to be able to do them. So
to me, it seems
I think that's
like,
more along with that person though, man. Because
it doesn't matter though. It doesn't matter though. So we can talk about individuals. I'm gonna let you get in that price, but we can talk about individuals. But I want to look at the core of the situation and talk about. I can't talk about us being in the gym. You know what I'm saying? Even if we are guilty of it at a time in our life, there's still people that are guilty of it today. Just because we've grown from it, that don't mean everybody else has. So what I'm saying is for J-Star to say I'm not sending my wife out there, bro, that mean he know about it.
But I bet if it was the same, I bet you're not saying that just specifically towards black people.
Right.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So I talked to some women prior to this.
No, I'm talking about J-Star. Like, are you?
I know.
Are you
he may not be saying that. He may not be saying that, but that's different though. We can't talk about the way J-Star feel because we got to talk about how Brandon might feel. While J-Star might not care if they black or white because J-Star want to protect his wife, but his wife may care if they black or white. Because I've talked to women that say, if I see a bunch of white men, I probably won't think twice. But if I see a bunch of black men, I'm nervous. These are women that told me that. So you can't talk about how J-Star feel about it.
Well, you reference J-Star. You reference J-Star.
No,
There's a
because he
difference
said
between-
that.
Yeah.
There's a difference between being protected and feeling uncomfortable.
No, it's not.
There is. Being protected don't necessarily mean that you're gonna never feel uncomfortable. Being uncomfortable, there will always be times when people feel uncomfortable. Period.
Bro, but is that okay to feel
It's
uncomfortable?
not okay,
around?
but that's never going to change. You can't change.
Yeah, you can because
You can't change everybody.
no, you can't change everybody, but you can change the culture. You can change the way our brothers treat the sisters. You can change that. That's changeable because we just talked about how you raise a son and breaking these generations.
But that happens in every culture. It don't just happen.
And I was
in
gonna say the
black
same,
culture. It happens in every culture.
and I started to cut you off, but just around Atlanta here, it's a big divide as far as how they party. Buckhead, hey, you have a lot of white folks and everything like that, and you see that. You see the younger guys hanging, and they catcalling their white counterparts as far as female. So I think when it comes to that, I think it goes back to, like you said, your community. So yeah, if you pull up to a gas station and white guys, the only thing that's probably going to run in your head is they racist. If they not, they probably not going to be worrying about me because they probably don't even like me. But a black guy, yeah, I get out of the car, the black guy going to catcall me.
Yeah,
and it's going to be the same way. I mean, if
So,
white
that's a really good point though, because your environment.
Coming from Texas, Hispanic men are super like macho wise as far as we talk about ourselves as far as being aggressive.
They hardcore.
Worse.
I agree,
and I've seen it.
I agree.
I think it's a community.
Completely.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not just us, our own community.
Trust me, I agree completely. But the issue is this: I didn't make this movement. Black women saying this, not me. So we could talk about the other races all day long. We already know that other races have issues. I mean, bringing them into the fold really don't diminish the fact that black women feel protected or not. I mean, I can understand you trying to bring it into the fold, but if we talking on the stand and we a lawyer, I can't use white women go through the same thing if I'm talking about black women because
my question.
Go ahead.
My question would be, how would I? If I was talking to those black women that you talked to, I would ask them, how can I, as one person, change that for the entire culture?
Well,
so always have people that do what they do.
So it's not one person. The thing is not one person. So the goal is to raise men. This is why we put this group together. We trying to mentor and we trying to talk to people and change hearts and minds and to mold them into a place where we feel like we're progressing our community, because our community, whether we admit it or not, has issues. And that to me is one of the issues. I don't see in any way that a black woman can or will feel comfortable around a group of black men in any situation, unless it's a club. I get. So to go back to that, J-Rock making that very great point that you have these women that, answer to that. I get that. I definitely understand that. So that's where that issue comes in with that group, and women have to deal with that, and we have to raise our daughters. I understand that completely. But again, I wanted to look at it from a standpoint of where would you send your woman, or where would you send your daughter, and what do you tell her when she goes to that place? And I feel like if you have to acknowledge that, then you are aware of it. And if you're aware of it, you have the duty and responsibility to change it how you can, to answer your question. So when you raise Amari, you know what I'm saying, you like, hey son, we don't do that. That's how we change it. We got a lot of stuff that perpetuate. We got rap music, everybody listen to it. I mean, I'm gonna tell y'all, I was listening to I forgot the dude's name. He just sent me a Christian album. I listened to the album Fire, Bizzle. John was dope. Then I listened to everything. So I turn on Pop Smoke, the newest one, I think. I was like, bruh, this some hard stuff going on up in here. It's very melodic and it's kind of hypnotizing. But the stuff that he be saying, bro, like whether you about to slap a bitch, I'm like, golly. So, these are I think even these young cats, when they hearing this and these women that answer to these things, it does further perpetuate the issue, but I still feel like it's an issue. I know we can talk that to death, but I kind of want to move from that because that'll be a long one. I get all y'all points. I do. I'm not saying I had the final say, but ultimately I feel like it's a reason why they don't feel protected. I did want to talk about this whole attitude situation. And like when Josh stated that they walk away and, you know, they may not think nothing of it or things like that. Now, do we feel like Black women have a wall up to the point where they can't be protected? Do y'all feel that?
In some instances,
Yeah.
I think. Go ahead, John.
I think, well, I don't know if it's a tough one too, because I don't know, you know, a lot of times it can be a cover up or a front, right? And so that's the piece that, you know, truly on the inside, they could be in fear, but have been taught not to project it, right? Or you know, I think it gets kind of tricky when it comes to, you know, that situation. Because some people can, you know, fake it till you make it. And you know, I think that has a lot to do with it too, like being able to keep your composure and you know, how do you react to things? Do you think it through, or do you just react or respond emotionally? And so I think that has a, you know, a big part of it. You know, I do really think, you know, some people can respond with a bad attitude for sure. I agree with that. You know, it's just about, again, what were their experiences? You know, have they always had negative experiences, and that's the only thing they know
Built
how
up
to,
that
you know, how to
attitude.
respond. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's what they know, or that's the mechanism that they use to, in a way, protect themselves, right? And so I think it's just a combination, a
point.
variety of things, in my opinion.
That's a good point.
Good point, brother. So you were asking in reference to just Black women's perceived attitude, correct?
Yeah, just do you see that as their perceived attitude? Do you see that as a reason why they don't get protected, or just, you know, just kind of throwing that out there?
I think ultimately, and I was talking to my coworker about this a couple weeks ago. I think just as a whole, I feel like we're the only race where you see the male and female feuding with each other consistently. Like, I kind of had I've kind of, like James, I was a military brat too, so I've always kind of been around multiple cultures. And even in my work environment, you rarely see white women just publicly, you know, bashing or going against the white male or even
That's the
Hispanic.
most powerful being on the planet, though.
Right. So, but what I say is, and where I'm going with that is, I feel like there's so many. It's hard to pinpoint because there's so many issues. I think there's an issue of lack of communication. There's an issue of lack of understanding. Lack of understanding means a Black woman fully sitting down and understanding what I go through as a Black man, and then me understanding what she goes through as a Black woman. Because I mean, yeah, it's some guys that's rude, you know, disrespectful, but it's also a bunch like us. It's also a bunch of good, solid dudes that, I mean, I've been there. I've, you know, dated someone who, you know, daddy issues. So I'm sitting here pouring out, trying to love you, and you don't even know how to accept it. So it goes back to Josh's point. I'm just trying to love you, and you fight me, or
somebody failed her as a man,
or you get it, or it could be, like I say.
That don't mean she couldn't grow now. I get you.
You can grow because even, you know, so I mean that. And then you got this, like I said, I think you got a lot of Black women that hate Black men because they say they're not there. So in your mind, Black men ain't nothing, and you hate Black men, and you raise some daughters to hate Black men, and you raise their daughters. So now that's 3 generations of, I don't need no man, can't no man do nothing for me, you know, ends ain't nothing, and all men dogs. And like, you're saying that as a blanket statement, but me as a good solid dude, bro, how long you think I'm gonna sit there and listen to that?
Yeah.
I'm out. You know, but then when I'm out, oh, he ain't nothing. I knew he wasn't gonna be. No, you got issues too. So I think while we work on ourselves as men, you know, yeah, there's stuff we can work on, but I think there's women that also need to work on things. So like I said again, it goes back like the black family is, in my opinion, of all races, it's the one race where the family structure purposely was destroyed, and we've been trying to rebound that from systematically from you just think, man, we're 35. Let's just, one of our fathers got locked up for weed. Like, it's a good chance he got like 20, 25 years. So, I mean, 25 years, that's 2 decades.
So we talking systemic now.
Right, and that's part of it. It's
Price, you got that look.
systemic. You know, so.
Price got that look,
So-
man.
So, man, so I'll say this. For me, and it's kind of tied to what J-Rock was just saying. I can remember when I first got to USM, I was thinking when I got there that I was like, man, I'm down here with some educated women. It's on. You know what I'm saying? Like, these women are educated. They're going to want educated brothers, right? And when I got there, that ain't what they wanted. The educated chicks still wanted the thugs. So, you know,
But they want the thug to be educated.
Right, they want the thug to be educated. But so to me, it was like, in my mind, when you're asking this question about do you feel protected, like, I'm almost asking, like, don't you shoulder some of that blame from the perception that you had when you were younger and how you was pushing these men to the good men to the side who would have protected you?
He too nice.
Right.
Hey, hey, look, I feel you. I hear what you're saying. I smell what you're cooking.
Yeah.
But J-Star, why you got that look, man? You got that.
Man, he's got that stuck look.
What you thinking, bro?
I'm just listening, man. I'm just listening, bro. I can agree with Price going, man. And you know, it's a tough one, bro. It's a tough one because I see where you tying this back into. And I see what you trying to get to. I do.
Look, no, I'm just listening, man.
But you know, there are factors that play that role, and you can't dismiss them.
And then even as a woman, like, yeah, there are things that there are things as a woman you expect from me as a man. But guess what? Like, men have expectation from women too.
Yeah.
So you're gonna hold me to all these expectations, and you don't want to meet any of mine, but it's all my fault.
Yeah.
You know,
And women, sometimes women, especially Black women, can have a you know, the words that they use can be very piercing, you know, to a man and damaging. And Black women are very strong women, and sometimes when they want to hurt you, they hurt you.
Yeah.
So
you know your culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
James
mentioned a good point earlier, though. I think, and when he said, you know, kind of community and environment, I just think that's a huge factor, man.
It's definitely a factor. But you know, we only represent 12% of the population of the United States of America. A lot of our communities and environments are not great. We can't continue to look at things through a suburban lens. We can't continue to look at things as guys that were raised well enough to get out and get good jobs. We got to understand that our communities are suffering. We got to understand that. Go ahead, James.
I guess what I was gonna say to finish that, but you know, from the environment standpoint, sometimes, you know, people don't have, like we talked about with us, may not have all the opportunities presented to them that we have. And so sometimes, you know, you only know what you know, or if you're in that environment and you're exposed to those type of things, then that's all. Unless somebody shows you a different way or to doing things, that's all you know.
Lack of representation.
Yeah. And you also mentioned the music as well, and I agree on that the music also plays a role into that as well with females and specifically our community. We the only community of music where the bad is the good, you know, when it comes to dating.
Look, dog, I hadn't disagreed with not one of y'all yet. I'm gonna say that, even though Jason, I think you know where I'm going. I hadn't disagreed with what y'all saying. You know, I got some statements about it, but I'm gonna let James get in there and Deezy get in there, you know, before we go
Well,
too far.
before they get in there, I will say this. I do think it starts, and I think John mentioned this earlier. It starts with parenthood. It
Parenthood
starts. So
requires a father. Yes, right.
how do we change it? We got to teach our daughters, man, because
Protect them.
I can tell in my wife the impact of her dad. And I can see it in everybody else's wives. That I've grown to know. So
Yeah.
I got a plug.
Go ahead, Jane.
go ahead.
Oh, what you say, Gerald?
I just go back to.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, going back to, like you said, that community, and even generational. I've seen it where, it goes back to parenting. I know this is about men. I know it's about us, stepping up and everything like that. But the mother, the Black mother, is the foundation for any family, regardless if the man is in that family or not. And they take cues from that woman. Now, again, we can nurture that woman to be the best she can be.
Yeah.
That son is gonna be the mama's boy. He's gonna look at the mom, and that daughter is gonna want to be raised or grow up into that figure of that mom. So while we talking about what we can do as men to kind of help better our situation when it comes to that, I think it needs to be a conversation where they also need to look inwards too. Again, and it goes back to that generational thing. The example I can give you is, and I've actually seen it. Without getting too deep into it, matriarch, strong Black woman, born 1910, backwoods Alabama. Her mother was a slave. That kind of hard brung up. She didn't have a lot of men in her family. She raised her daughters and sons the way she knew she could. And that goes back to, before I even go further down the line, somebody said something to me before. It's like, as far as being raised off of love versus being raised off survival. And I think in our type of community, I think it's a lot of just raised off of survival. Like, I just through this period to push you out. And that's another thing. We push our people out too fast. But but just I need to get you through this part so I can push you out into the world, and then you got it.
That you ain't ready for.
I've seen a lot of other, when we go back to cultures or even just different families that have different dynamics, they raise off of love. And I think that's where you really see the difference. Because even, I don't know how many Instagram chicks I done seen that I'd be like, she don't have no dad in her life. And then finally they pop up and they got a whole bunch of pictures with their dad. So we can't always just put it on the dad and relationship. I mean, they have a big part of it, but I would go back to say that, the family unit starts at the mom. The dad is the leader, but everything, the love and nurturing comes from the mom.
That's why they both important though, man.
And they are. They both important.
I kind of differ in a way, because even though I was raised predominantly by my mom, because she was a single parent for a while, I feel like from my experiences and what I've seen, not having that male around, whether you're a boy or a girl, I don't know, it seems like it's crucial to me. Because for the man, how do you find somebody to show you?
I mean, it's true. Right.
Yeah, before we go too far down there, though, that's a rabbit hole. Before we go too far down that rabbit hole, I gotta get Deezy back in here. Deezy, do you feel like Black women use that as a protection, that bad attitude, so to speak, bad attitude? You feel like that's a protection mechanism, or is that what you feel?
I mean, I definitely believe it's a shield. I'm not sure if it's real protection, but it's definitely a shield. It's definitely something that they throw up. I mean, because, like, okay, so you were talking about, like, the gas station reference, right?
Yeah.
Like, the Black woman would be the type to be out there, yelled at the other dudes, and not even told you till she got home that she was scared. And then what you supposed to do then? So you don't feel protected, because I'm like, yo, why you ain't call me? And that's all I got to say about it.
You think you need to be more open about it?
Yeah,
I mean that's a good point, bro. That's a point that nobody said.
Huh?
That's a good point. I mean, that's a point that nobody else has said. That's an excellent point that Black women need to vocalize the fact that they don't feel protected. I like that point, actually.
I
we're
mean,
all kind of going. I'm sorry. I was just saying, going back to just strong women. You know.
Yeah.
I think that's.
But you do know that women don't necessarily always want to be strong, because a point that was made. We talk about parents and the point that was made to say that women are the foundation. Regardless to how much women are foundation and how powerful Black women are, y'all have to understand and realize that women relinquish all of that power to us, whether it's right or whether it's wrong. They give all of that power to us. So in essence, we are still leading that family. We've seen it time and time again. We can tell by our past relationships of how we mistreated girls. You know what I'm saying? Had girls walking across campus, bring you sandwiches and stuff. You know, that's mistreatment. You know what I'm saying? Because they relinquish all of that power, even though they have it, even though we got to make sure we got a fresh cut. You know what I'm saying? Even though we got to make sure our whip, you know, tight. We jump through all these hoops and in this circus to make these women feel us. They still relinquish all of that power once they start liking you a little bit. So, you know, I say that to say, you know, Black women can be strong as ever. But at the end of the day, they still need us. They still want us to be there. Not necessarily need, they want us to be there. And they look to us for protection. But I agree with all y'all points. Absolutely. They do play a role